to the Rant. Here with your host, Brendan Brown, and here with your panel, J.B. Brown, the Honorable Chris Gallen, Cleveland, sorry the Colts lost, Spears, and our new panelist, Wes Henderson. So, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, give a little wrap up to it. You know, the New Orleans Saints coming through as the underdogs, making a lot of people lose money, defeating the Indianapolis Colts 31-17. So first we're going to start out with the person most relevant to the Super Bowl conversation with our panel, Cleveland. Talk about it.
Oh, man, you know, I mean, really and truly, I can blame this on a lot of things, but nothing personal. I mean, nothing that deals with us, really. You know, the Saints, everybody thought this was destiny. I don't believe that's true. I think, really, the Saints came out and started their game plan. Greg Williams, defensive coordinator, said, I got a package for just the first half. I got a package for the third quarter and a different package for the fourth quarter. And he stuck to those different packages throughout the game, which really confused Peyton Manning because he never really saw the same thing twice, which really helped him. That onside kick at the start of the second half really turned the game around. That's when I knew the Colts weren't going to win the game.
Chris.
Well, that was a key play, but remember the one play when Pierre Garçon, 10-yard in, and dropped the pass,
Yeah.
and with room to run. That play right there could have led them to a field goal or possibly a touchdown. So they could have been going into the half. They could have been going into halftime up more than what they were.
Yeah, up 17-6 or something.
And the thing about it is, the Colts only scored in the first quarter and the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And I mean, the time of possession was almost identical.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. Yeah.
JB.
Yeah, now speaking on time of possession, the Colts only had the ball. They only had the ball for what 5-6 plays. You know what I mean? Albeit, and the coach usually loved to drain the clock. And another one of those key plays, after Pierre Garçon dropped that wide open pass that could have done some major damage. Peyton Manning he actually had a mistake like later on in the fourth quarter that he probably wanted to get back. Porter made a good play on the ball. He said he watched a lot of film, and it showed because he jumped that route in front of Reggie Wayne, and he couldn't have made it any better play than that. So I congratulate the Saints. But the Colts, they have nothing to be ashamed about anyway. I mean, they always have a great team, and they might be a force to be reckoned with next year.
Wes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all you guys. You know, it's major props to the Colts for just, you know, giving it all they had. You know, it was a great game. You know, I personally was going for both teams. I wanted both of them to win, but only one could come out. I think the key thing that came out was when we went into halftime. You know, we come back to the third quarter, you know, everybody's getting stiff. There was a 30-minute long break between the halftime show and all that. And then the Saints did the unthinkable, that onside kick, you know, that sparked themselves, you know, like a spark plug, you know, to bring it to life that they had. So, you know, sticking with their game plan, like you said earlier, is just their key, and, you know, doing what they do best. You know, doing what they do best. So.
Well, I mean, let's go ahead and think about it. In that first half, Joseph Addai ran the ball for 77 yards. It's close to what he has for his personal high all season. Personal high all season has been like 92, 93 yards. So 77 in the first half was really good. What did they do in the second half? Oh, they forgot to run the ball. It's like they forgot how to run the ball in the second half. So it's a little weird that, you know, that they quit running the ball so much. And that's what JB knowing, you know, JB saying the Colts like to milk the clock a little bit. Not really. They like to milk the play clock down a lot. But the game clock, they like to score as fast as possible. You know, but you know, the Saints offense, great yesterday after the first quarter. When they scored no points in the first, they couldn't be stopped afterwards. I think they only punted one time after the first quarter, and that was in the third quarter, and that was it. That was the last time they had to punt. Everything else was either field goals or touchdowns. You know, you talk about that onside kick right there, and really Hank Basket screwed that one up because the rule is, at that front line is, you don't start running backwards till the ball passes you. But what happened? Frank Basket was the only player the only player on that front line that when they went to kick the ball off, he took off to the back. Started running for the block back. That didn't happen. And so the kicker saw it and said, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of that one. And he kicked it right to Hayden basket and pulled what I like to call a little Giants play. The ball bounced right off his face mask. Everybody said it hit his hands. Video shows it didn't hit his hands. So Hayden basket and his face mask caused the Colts to lose the game.
It was a key play.
It was a key play.
It was a key play that, like he said, sparked the Saints. But you know what? There was the whole pregame, all of the week leading up to the game, they were talking about the defenses that were going to stop Peyton Manning or the defense that was going to stop Drew Brees. Out of the entire game, 1 sack.
Yeah.
By an injured Dwight Freeman.
By an injured player, Dwight Freeman. So he made an impact with 1 sack.
Yeah.
And that was in what, second quarter?
Yeah, it was in the
First quarter, second quarter. And then the other key play,
1 turnover.
the Saints got theirs.
Yeah.
The interception.
The interception. Yeah.
So much for defense. So much for defense.
And then you want to talk about kickers, as Cleveland was talking about. You want to talk about Garrett Hartley, who may have been, for this season, the most clutch kicker in the NFL. Come through with, what was it, 3
field goals of 40-plus yards.
40
in the
yards
Super Bowl.
plus.
Against the Vikings, took that one away from Brett Favre.
And what did I say last week? That if any player has ice for blood vein, it's got to be the kicker. And he's not even. And just imagine what his nerves were like before that kick in the NFC Championship game. They weren't even there for the Super Bowl. Because if you know you can kick it in the Superdome with all the loud fans waiting to go to the Super Bowl, all you got to do is go out there and win the Super Bowl now. That's all he had to do. So he scored 9 points just himself, without counting the extra points. Don't get me wrong. So don't get me wrong, the extra points still count.
Oh, yes.
So I mean, that's without extra points. He scored 9 points just off that.
And the key thing about it is, if you look at that first kick that he made, they said there was a stat that came up that the longest kick that Gary Hartley has ever had outside of dome turf is 35 yards.
35 yards.
35 yards. I mean, he was kicking them from 45, 52,
47.
and 47, I think. And it's amazing that even though the kickers are prone, they're used to kicking in the domes, especially the Saints, but they still have the ability to go out to a natural turf and still kick it right through the uprights.
Especially since
with so much room to spare too.
Yeah, and especially with that they had a lot of rainstorm in the Florida area, so the field was a little slick, but still in great condition.
Players missing their cuts and slipping on the floor. Yeah, definitely.
We'll be back with some topics here on The Range. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to The Range, where we're going to get into some very cool sports topics right now. But before we wrap up, as we wrap up this whole Super Bowl thing, I'd like to talk to you about Peyton Manning's legacy. Chris over here says, you know what? Peyton is still subpar to Tom Brady. But nobody has been so big to this decade than Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, in this decade, yes, he only won 1 title, but by the time he gets done with his career, he will own every passing record ever mentioned. I'll give him that. Now, Chris over here is going to talk more about Tom Brady, and the whole time you're just going to see me. That's all you're going to see. But you know what? I guess, Peyton Manning, what he has done to the Colts and what he has done for football is so big. Now, his legacy in the Super Bowl may have been hurt last night, but his legacy as a player has not been tarnished at all. That's what happens.
I understand what you're saying. But I'm going to fight for Tom Brady. Peyton Manning, to me, might be the greatest regular season quarterback when he's all said and done.